Yo, what is going on, people? What is going on, man? It's your boy Persona, gaming with Persona, and one half of the What's Up PlayStation podcast crew. And welcome to a new episode of When Persona Speaks, a little impromptu on this Monday evening. But I hope everybody is happy, healthy, and safe. And listen, if you're at work, hopefully I could get you through your work day. If you're on your way home from work or school, hopefully I could get you through your commute home. Excuse me. You might be at home. Sorry about that. See, I gotta start over. I don't like, no, the coughing and all that. Now we gotta start all over. If you're at work, hopefully I could get you through your work day. If you're on your way home from work or school, hopefully I could get you through your commute home. You might be at home cooking dinner, doing homework with the kids. Hopefully I could get you through your session. Listen, you might be taking a shower. I don't know. Cleanliness is closer to godliness. Listen, you might be having matters with the significant other. I don't know. I just appreciate you putting me on. Listen, shout out to everybody here, man. I appreciate you. I know this is impromptu, so some people might get the notification, might not get the notification, right? But if people pull up, they pull up. If you watch it later, it's all good. This is impromptu anyway. But yo, man, listen, shout out to everybody, man. I hope everybody's doing good, man. Your boy, I had a nice nap. You feel me? Your boy was, vacationing this weekend. So, I got home early in the afternoon, and I crashed out. Woke up, that drive, man. That drive is crazy. It's a good drive. Oh, and this is zero sugar Gatorade. It ain't the sugary Gatorade. It's zero sugar. But, yeah, that drive through New Hampshire is crazy. Yo, listen, how y'all doing, though, man? I haven't talked to y'all in a minute. I haven't, vibed out. We didn't do a What's Up PlayStation obviously over the weekend because your boy was I wasn't in town, and just it's been a minute. So, tomorrow's my birthday, by the way, as well. So we getting up, we creeping up there in ages, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting up there, right? We're aging. So your boy is getting older as well, which is a blessing, honestly. It's a blessing to be able to see another year. I truly feel blessed to have my health and all that stuff, man. It's truly a blessing. So, definitely a good thing. But yo, let me shout out everybody in the chat. Where are my manners? See, it's been a while. Where are my manners? I gotta shout the chat out. Yo, the Floyd in the building. The Floyd, how you doing, man? Juan Sosa Gaming in the building. What's going on? I said, what's up, Persona? Hope you're having a good day. I am having a great day. Juan, hope you're having an even better day, sir. Appreciate you pulling up. Yo, Philip sitting in the building. Was good, Philip. Chris Cobra Elite. It's been a minute, bro. Yo, Chris, it has, man. I hope you good, man. Hope everybody is good. And shout out to you, man. Appreciate you pulling up. Killer Cam for show in the building. Shout out to my boy Killer Cam. He said, hit that like button. JC 2013 in the building. JC, what's going on with you, bro? Foxing around Austin. Shout out to my boy Fox, man. Appreciate you always rocking out, bro. Yo, Dewan Thompson in the building. Yo, what up, Persona? What up, everybody in the chat? Yo, shout out to you, Dewan. Appreciate you pulling up. Yo, Gasuka in the building. Gasuka, how you doing today, man? Hope everything is good with you as well. I won't be able to be here for the whole live, but I hope you have a nice day, Persona. Appreciate you just stopping by, Gasuka. It means a lot. It means a lot to me. It warms my heart. That you pull up. And so, shout out to you, Gasuka. Yo, Broken Lobo in the building. Broken was good. Mary Wilcox, appreciate you. Yo, Stardust Zero in the building. Appreciate you. Ice Queen in the building. Damien, shout out to my boy Damien in the building. Persona gonna be in the Winter X Games. Hey, yo, man, I'll divulge a little bit after I shout everybody out about my weekend. But yo, shout out to you, Damien. Appreciate you pulling up, bro. Yo, Plus Ultra in the building. Appreciate you. Who else is here, man? Make sure. Yo, Cloud Strife in the building. Cloud, what's good with you, man? Appreciate you, man. What's good, bro? I see you going on the ski trips and stuff. I need to get like you, my brother. Yo, Cloud, appreciate you pulling up, man. Yeah, it was fun as hell, man. I had a lot of fun. Yo, I Make Babies. What's good with you, man? I ain't seen you in a minute, man. I Make Babies. Hope you good, man. Overdone. Appreciate you. Damn, January went fast. Yeah, January flew by, yo. Like this month, I blinked and we're already going into February. Absolutely crazy, right? Yeah, this month is definitely going by really quickly. Yo, Tool Man in the building. What's good, man? Appreciate you. Overdone, appreciate you. Who else is here, man? Yo, Gamer Boy in the building. What's good? What's up, Persona? How was the trip? We're gonna see you in the next Winter Olympics. Yo, what's good, man? What's good, man? Appreciate you, Gamer Boy. Cobb Sanity in the building. Yeah, yo, listen. Let me give a round of applause to everybody in the chat, man. Let me make sure, round of applause, man. Hey, man, so, yeah, man, listen, your boy, I had went out to, New Hampshire over the weekend. I drove out, nice little weekend getaway road trip. Went out to New Hampshire and, went skiing, well, snowboarding. I skied a lot, but I never snowboarded, and I always wanted to snowboard. And, it was a chance for me to see, like, I'd never been to New Hampshire or been that, further up north like that. So, I kind of like, let's kill two birds with one stone, see what the vibes are out there in New Hampshire, and go snowboarding, obviously, and, just soak in that experience up there and, see what people are like and life is like. And, one thing I always say, and I've been saying this for a while, and it's something that I personally, I started to experience when I was young in my life, is it's important to get out of your comfort zone, get out of your neighborhood, get out of your state, and just see the world and see people and just meet people and do things, right? Because it exposes you to a different side of what life can be, right? It gives you new experiences. It makes you more interesting in terms of like conversations to talk with people. You can build new connections and things like that. And it really opens your eyes, man. Where a kid like me, growing up in the hood and all that stuff, and becoming what I am in life, and then being able to do different things, man. I think that stuff is important for people to do. Get outside your comfort zone, go out, travel, do things, get around different people, see different mindsets, different ideologies, see how life is in different areas and different places, right? So, I was like, let's see what's up in New Hampshire, see what's good out there. And yeah, man, and I never, like I said, I've skied before, but I've never been snowboarding. So, I definitely did go snowboarding. Your boy's out there snowboarding, man. I was out there. Your boy was out there, man. And listen, one thing I'll say, when you do shit like this, and that's why, like, it's important to, like, especially, I know a lot of people of like all races, watch me. It's not just like black people, white people. But let me talk to the black folks real quick, man. That's why it's important to get out and do shit, man. Get out, do things, experience life. Just go out and do stuff, man. Because I promise you, man, it's so much more to life, man. I swear. Anyway, it wasn't a whole lot of black people. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Like, it wasn't a whole lot of black folks out there. I'll tell you that, right? Especially when I was snowboarding, skiing, where I was at in the mountains. It was. I could count on like one hand the amount of black folks I saw. You feel me? Surprisingly, I seen like a lot of like Asians and obviously white people and things like that. But it was fun as hell, man. Everybody was so nice, so cool. My instructor, that was teaching me to snowboard. She was real cool. She was cute too. We exchanged numbers and I don't anyway. And it was a cool, vibe, man. And once I learned how to snowboard, I bust my ass a lot. Listen, I was like, because it was like a 2-hour training session, and then like you can then go up the I forgot what they call that, the thing that takes you up the mountain and all that. So I was doing all that or whatever. And man, I bust my ass a lot, because skiing is much easier because you can control both legs. Snowboarding is so difficult because it's really your body, and you get a serious workout. Like, listen, I do squats, I work out hardcore, like I do a lot of weight training. I was still like, sweating a little bit out there. I was like, yo, this shit is like really some serious ass workout. It was great though, I loved it. And so like you kind of have to control your whole body, and the way it's a lot going on in your mind when you're doing snowboarding, right? Where like you really have to like understand how to turn, where you have to kind of tilt your body and move your toes and your heel. It's a lot, like it's a lot of mental thinking when it comes to snowboarding, but I loved it. I had a lot of fun. I bust my ass a lot. And the last time I bust my ass, Yo, I fell kind of hard. Pause. And it was like, all right, it's time to go. It's time to get, it's time to go, because like I fell. So the first time I fell on like on my back, like my back area, and I was like, all right, I'm cool. I got up, I'm still going down, and then I fell again on the same, literally the same exact spot, and so it hurt really, really bad, like really bad. And I was like, all right, it's time to go. I was like, it's time to go. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, yo. I enjoyed the hell out of it, man. Being in the gear and all that, man. It was dope as hell, man. I loved it, man. It was really fun doing this snowboarding. And honestly, this is gonna be like a year. And then like New Hampshire in itself, cause you know I drove around New Hampshire. I went to like bars, and went to a lot of restaurants, and I went out a lot and did a lot of other things as well outside of snowboarding while I was out there. And New Hampshire is a very beautiful state. Very beautiful state, very peaceful state. People there are very, very nice. Like very, 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 very nice. People are very nice out there, very accommodating. It was like just the overall experience in New Hampshire was like really, really nice, very peaceful. I did go to Boston too. I went to Boston. When I go to Boston, Sunday. Yeah, Sunday I went to Boston. No, Friday I went to Boston. Actually, no, Sunday. Yeah, no, Sunday I went to Boston, was out there for a little bit as well, vibing out. And, went to a couple different restaurants, met a lot of cool people, made some good connections with some people. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool, man. I liked it. And so, I just think it's important for people to get out there and really see the world, man. See the world, see, just see everything, man. It's dope. This was the first day I got there too, man. Your boy. A lot of people ask me like how tall, how tall am I? I'm a pretty statuesque guy, I will say. But yeah, it was a good vibe, man. It was a good vibe, man. I enjoyed it. I liked it. Had a lot of fun. Had a lot of good food. Yeah, it was great. I definitely recommend people. And the drive there was great as well. Very peaceful, very good drive. Real talk, especially like being a New Yorker, it's not a lot of traffic in New Hampshire either. Like it's not a whole lot of traffic out there. Even like peak times, it's like not a lot of traffic. And like it's kind of jarring because like, when you come from the city, like New York City, where it's like bumper to bumper traffic and like, just honking and all. It ain't none of that shit out there, man. Like it's very open, very, even in like the city areas that I was in, it wasn't like too crazy of traffic, Yeah, it was this one breakfast spot I went to called the Friendly Toast. This spot was fire, yo. It was, I don't know if this is like like a woman-owned restaurant or whatever. Like when I stepped in there, I thought this was like, cause it's like a breakfast brunch spot. There was like, it was like all women. It was like maybe like one guy in there, but it was like all women. So I'm thinking, is this like a woman-owned establishment or whatever? Which which is cool. But the ambiance and the vibe of it was like very, very colorful. It was dope. It was dope, man. And the food there was good too, man. I had this omelet with some sourdough toast and all that. It was actually really, really good, man. They actually really did good there. And there was another place I went to. There's a few places that I went to or whatever, restaurant-wise that I went to that was really good. This Japanese spot, they had this dope sushi spot I went to, had some good sushi. They had this crab sushi that was like really, really good. But it was good, but it ain't agree with me 100%. You understand? I'm gonna keep it a stack with y'all. It definitely didn't. Did I go through Vermont? No, I went through Rhode Island, Connecticut, Boston, Massachusetts. I went through Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and then to New Hampshire. If I would have kept going, I would have hit Vermont, Maine, and Vermont. If I would have kept going. So yeah, which Maine and Vermont is on the list too. I definitely want to go up, hit up those states, see what's good out there, see what the vibes are out there as well, and see what's up, But it was cool. It was cool, man. It was cool. Boston is cool as hell. My wife and I love it. Yeah, Boston. I've been to Boston before. Actually, last year when me and Bari had went to PAX, that was like my first time in Boston. And it was cool. Like, you know, it was cool. But this time when I went, I drove out there. I drove to a little bit more of like the citier area of Boston. You know, to see what the vibes are out there and whatnot, and checked out a few spots and whatnot. And it was cool. It was cool. I liked it. So, yeah, man. You know, it's a good vibe, man. It's a good vibe, man. I'll divulge in more of it. You know, at some point. I know probably on WUPS as well this Saturday. You know, I'll probably talk about it or whatever. But yeah, man. Listen. At the end of the day, man, it's important to get out, see the world, see what's up. But this show is not about Persona's trip. That is, you know, if you guys want a video or something of that, I'll probably do that if you guys want that. But yeah, you know, it's not really it ain't a When Persona's trip edition. When Persona Speaks trip edition. You feel me? But yo, listen, shout out to everybody here, man. Appreciate everybody coming through. Yo, Blackbeard in the building, Kratos. Shout out to everybody, man. I appreciate. Yo, matter of fact, let me bring the chat. Let me pop the chat out. You know, so I keep everything, you know, symmetrical. You know, I can see you guys right here because my camera and everything is right there, so it's easy for me to see everything instead of looking on that screen. Who else? That's where I'm from, is Vermont. So was just wondering. Oh, nah. You know, Vermont is definitely a state I want to visit. Vermont and Maine for sure. I want to drive up there as well. The drive, yo, listen, the drive was very, like, road trips like that. I'm definitely gonna do a lot more, only because it's very peaceful. You know, like it's you know, it gives you time to think. You know, you go clear your mind, go through shit. Like, you know, I like the drive, man. The drive is actually, and seeing like especially the snowy areas. So seeing like the mountains with the snow, you know, as I'm driving through the different states and seeing all the different like houses and homes and water. And it was such a great drive, man. Going and coming back was also really good. It was just such a great drive, man. You know, blasting my music, just vibing out. I loved it, man. And I definitely needed a trip like this, man. This was definitely a good thing. I loved it. Give me a chance to kind of, you know, decompress, you know, and all that stuff. But anyway, I don't want to bore y'all with all that, man. Let's get into the show and what we talking about today. Yo, J Wright was good. Nerdy Gaming was good, man. Shout out to you. Appreciate you. A lot of black people don't do cold weathers. That's why we ain't dominating any hockey. Nah, I seen a few black people like on the mountain. But like I said, I could count on like one hand the amount of black people I saw on the mountain. Oh, the lift. Thank you, JC. The lift. I don't know why I couldn't think lift when I was looking at the damn picture. I don't know. But yeah, you know, even like in New Hampshire itself, man, I ain't see a whole lot. Actually, yo, there was this Jamaican spot. Yo, I hit up this Jamaican. Yo, listen, I was walking and I heard the reggae music and I was like, hold up. Where that coming from? I hear the music. You understand? It touched my soul. It hit my roots. And I hear the music. I start looking like, reggae? Where we at? And I seen a Jamaican restaurant. Your boy had to go in there and get the jerk chicken. Say, hey mama, let me get the jerk chicken. Jerk chicken with the rice and peas and plantain. It was alright. It was cool. It was good. Was it like the best that I've had? No. And this definitely was a family-owned business as well, because like it was the mother in the back making the food, and then the daughter was actually at the register, you know, taking the orders and everything. And she was teaching her how to like, you know, how to do customer service. It was really cool. I definitely tipped them as well, and you know, support the business, because you know they definitely was doing their thing, man. And the food was good. It was hot. It definitely tasted good. The jerk chicken was spicy as hell. It definitely was spicy. The rice and peas was good. The plantain could have been cooked a little better. Plantain could have been cooked a little better. Persona was sliding in DMs and slopes. Understand? Ayo, Fox, relax, man. Let your boy live. You feel me? So yeah, there was a Jamaican spot, and it was really good. It was good. It was cool. It was a cool spot. And you know me, I'm a judge. I'm a judge harshly when it comes to Jamaican spots, because you know, that's my roots. So update later. There we go. All right. But anyway, let's get into the show, man. Let's get into the show. So, yo, J-Ro, what's good? Sorry, guys. I know we like Persona. We ain't here for that. The title says Phil Spencer speaks again, clarifying Xbox exclusivity in Microsoft's future. So listen, this is impromptu because like I said, I had woke up. You know, I was kind of like watching a little TV, you know, eating something, and I was kind of like playing catch up on news because, you know, while I was on vacation, I wasn't really, and that's why, and like for people that was commenting on like my pictures and all that, I'm not being mean by ignoring you guys or not replying or liking. I was just posting pictures and moving on because I really didn't want to be tied to social media this weekend either. I really wanted to, like, you know, take a break from everything and just, you know, be on vacation, enjoy my time. So I was posting the pictures and kind of just moving on. I wasn't really looking at anything. So, you know, I appreciate everybody, like, you know, that gave kudos. So I was playing catch up today with like gaming news and what was going on Twitter and you know, the back and forth banter and all. I was playing catch up and I was seeing this stuff with you know, Philip, my boy. That's my boy, Philip Bartholomew, Jay Spencer. You know, in interviews that he did with Destin Legary, and he did an interview with Gamertag Radio. First of all, shout out. Listen, and I want to say this before I get into, because what we're gonna do is kind of like a lot. I want to do like I want to watch the interviews and then we'll kind of talk about it, and I'll give my perspective based on what Phil Spencer's talking about and things like that. But I do want to say this, you know, I don't have any type of personal issues with Destin or Paris or Danny or Gamertag Radio in general. You know, like I know that there's like a lot of things, especially in the gaming community now, where and this is kind of why, like, I've pulled away, because like it really isn't fun anymore, like, you know, the back and forth, because, and I've said this before, a lot of people, can I speak freely? I know this is my show, but y'all are the audience. Put a 1 in the chat if your boy can speak freely. Put a 1 in the chat if I can be blunt for just a second. Put a 1. If you say it's okay for me to be blunt, I'll be blunt. Oh, I'm seeing the ones. Oh, they want the old school persona. Fair enough. Copy. A lot of people dumb as fuck. Like, they don't know gaming. They don't know they can't have a good conversation. They can't have a sensible conversation. They just really, like, the conversation surrounding gaming right now it's so dry and boring and disgusting, and it's dumb because, like, a lot of people, they don't speak from a place of experience. When you try to have a conversation surrounding gaming, even if it's a disagreement, right? Even if I disagree with somebody, people don't even know how to disagree properly. Debate. People don't know how to debate. People, like, it's not fun. It's not enjoyable. And I'm not in the business of, like, constantly having a conversation with people that's not playing games. Like, I don't want to do that. And honestly, you know, and I'll let you guys in on a little secret. The older I get, you know, I'm about to, you know, my birthday's tomorrow. I'm getting old. The older I get, the more I feel myself distancing even further from, like, just all this shit. I gotta be honest. I don't know how much more I personally have left in me. It's just not, it's just where I'm at mentally, you know. The older I get, the more I'm just like, I just don't care. If you guys want this to fail, fine. If you guys don't want to support this, okay. Like, I can't keep saying or doing the same things, you know. Like, it's just like, I don't care. If gaming goes the way it goes and it becomes worse, as much as I hate it, as much as I don't want that to happen, I'm gonna still play my games. I'm still gonna support my games and, you know, have fun and enjoy the games and actually play the games and all that stuff I've been doing since day one, you know. But it seems like in today's time, the conversation around video games is what people care more about as opposed to playing games. And I've never been that way. I've never been that type of person ever. As much as I love to, like, you know, debate or talk gaming, and listen, me and Bari or me and Kendra or TZ, whoever I'm talking with, like, we'll talk gaming. But I'm someone that plays games, man. Like, I want to play the games. I want to play. That's always been me. That's always going to be me. And that's just never going to change. You feel me? So just the idea of just constantly talking about games and talking about this and talking about that, and then like these people just aren't playing games or aren't playing enough. It is what it is. But speaking of that, let's talk about games. Persona, you hypocrite. You just told me that you're tired, that you don't want to talk about the games, but you're about to talk about the game. You're such a fraud and a hypocrite. You're absolutely right. Let's talk about games. Talking about games every now and then ain't anything wrong with that. Besides, this is something that I personally, I really want to talk about, only because, yo, listen, shout out to Phil Spencer, right? And like I said, we're gonna do a little reaction. Watch the interviews, and I'll talk about it from my perspective. Thank you for all the early birthday wishes from everybody as well. I appreciate you guys, man, from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it. But I do want to do Destin Legary's first. And like I said, shout out to Destin Legary. Shout out to Paris and Danny. I do think what those guys do, regardless if you agree with them or not, on a personal level when it comes to their gaming takes, I think one thing we all can agree upon is the fact that they out here doing their thing. So you can't be mad at that, right? So shout out to them for doing their thing, or whatever the case may be, right? But one thing, I do want to watch the interview with Paris. I mean, not Paris. Destin and Philip Bartholomew J. Spencer. That's my boy. And we're gonna talk about it. And here's the thing. God bless Phil Spencer's heart, man. Because I know this dude is tired of having to explain exclusivity, explain what this means and what that means, and is this game going, and what does red line mean, and this and that. And I know he's tired of that shit, but at the same time, a lot of this is also Microsoft's fault, right? And obviously, for the people that are interviewing, they ask these questions because this is what the audience, or their audience, and people that watch them, this is the talk of the town. People care about exclusivity. As much as people may try to say, oh, well, Microsoft is going in a different direction, and they're above, remember what they were saying a year ago, 2 years ago? They're above consoles, they're past the consoles. Their competition isn't PlayStation or Nintendo, it's Apple and Amazon, Google and Apple and Google. Remember that? Remember when they were talking that, when people was talking that dumb shit 2-3 years ago, right? When Phil Spencer said that their vision was to reach 2 billion gamers. And so the response I asked is, well, how do you reach 2 billion gamers without Microsoft, without PlayStation or Nintendo? Well, it's not about them. Remember, they're saying it's not about PlayStation, it's not about Nintendo. And it's like, yes, but you have a console. You still need to compete within that area of the market as well. It's not about that. They're past the console. It's about stopping Google and Amazon from getting into gaming and eating up all of gaming and killing gaming. And lo and behold, here we are now, where Microsoft owns two of the biggest publishers in the industry, and has had and not saying PlayStation, because I know how people are when, well, Persona, what about PlayStation? PlayStation had layoffs as well. They had canceled games. I just ripped PlayStation a new one on my last episode of When Persona Speaks. This is not a PlayStation When Persona Speaks show. So if you're looking for me to rag on PlayStation and do the whataboutisms, go watch the When Persona Speaks show I did 2 weeks ago or a week ago, when I was talking about how PlayStation is fucking up when they're canceling games and this games as a service bullshit and all the dumb shit that they were doing. That's not what this is. Anyway, getting back to Microsoft. Microsoft has two publishers, has had mass layoffs, right? And has shown that they still are not equipped at handling such a large volume of developers adequately. Not saying that they're doing that everything is bad, because it's not, because they obviously are announcing games. They had a great Xbox Developer Direct, but we're seeing the shift. We're seeing the large shift for Microsoft, where they are really becoming third party, right? But you have a lot of people, and when I say a lot of people, I more so mean a lot of people within our community, right? That congregate within the space, that are in the know, that talk about these things on a regular, that follow the news, that that are on this, right? That the conversation of exclusivity is one where it constantly keeps coming up, right? And it keeps coming up largely because Microsoft has not done the best job of, one, sticking by their laurels, their morals, or excuse me, not morals, their laurels, and sticking by their original messaging, because the messaging has constantly been changing and changing and changing. When originally they were, going back to the ZeniMax deal, existing titles that were already on PlayStation would remain supported, and any new titles would be on a case-by-case basis. When you heard that messaging and heard that led people to believe that, okay, exclusivity is still something that's very important within Microsoft when it comes to the Xbox console side of things, so we have nothing to worry about. We had people adequately saying, Starfield is not going to be coming to PlayStation. It shouldn't, right? And I am in agreement that Starfield, because they own ZeniMax, it's within Microsoft's prerogative to not bring any of their games to PlayStation, because exclusivity is important. I'm somebody that believes in exclusivity, and not just on the PlayStation side, holistically, right? So Nintendo has timed exclusive deals or exclusivity when it comes to their games, their publishers, first party, second or third. PlayStation, Microsoft is the only one that really has been breaking down the walls and changing their concept and changing how they're doing business within the game industry when it comes to their games that are both first party or second or third, as we can see from this most recent developer direct that they had last week, where they were announcing things that are coming from first party but also releasing simultaneously on a PlayStation 5 console, right? So the idea of exclusivity from a Microsoft side of things, when you look at the messaging from the very beginning of this whole acquisition saga, starting with ZeniMax, right? And how the messaging continuously change, shift to now, there is a lot of confusion within the Xbox side of things, because one day it's case by case, the next day it's, there's only, now it's only these 4 games, right? From the beginning of last year, when he had that podcast speaking on what the future was when it comes to when it comes to Microsoft and Xbox and how they're going to do their games, right? And even go back even further to the Activision acquisition and the idea of exclusivity and how that would translate when it comes to PlayStation and titles that were already in flight releasing on PlayStation versus future titles after that have already met the contractual agreements. Where does that go? Is that going to be exclusive? Because at the end of the day, yo, Cyberjack, appreciate you. 45 months as a member on the channel. He says, shout out to the chat mods and the When Persona Speaks podcast. Spit those facts, sir. Appreciate you always, Cyber. But then, when it comes to the idea of exclusivity, and this is why, and listen, I have to keep saying this because I know that when you disagree with people or have a difference of opinion, people tend to take that as disrespect and not really just it being a disagreement, right? I can disagree with somebody and not disrespect them, right? But I have to use Paris as an example. And listen, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Paris, what he does in the industry. I am not attacking Paris personally. I want to explicitly say that. No disrespect to Paris on a personal level. I just disagree with some of his gaming takes, and I've said this to him before. So it's not like, you saying this behind his back. You wouldn't know. I've tweeted this stuff to him on maybe 2 or 3 occasions, right? Where his stance when it comes to Microsoft and exclusivity has shifted so much over just the past 3 years. And I said this in my most recent tweet to him. This is probably like 3 months ago, 4 months ago, where I said your stance on exclusivity has shifted so much that it's hard for people to really even understand where you stand, because where you stand continuously shifts, right? And again, people are free to change their minds for whatever reason, right? My argument or what I'm not saying that it's wrong that he's changing his mind. What I'm saying is, you change your mind so frequently that it's hard for somebody to honestly understand where you stand, because you're easily swayed whenever the messaging from Microsoft shifts. That's all I'm saying. But at the end of the day, we know that a lot of people care about exclusivity. Paris and Destin and the gamer tag guys and all them included, there is a care. They care about exclusivity because when it came to Activision Blizzard, right? Or even, no, excuse me, when it came to ZeniMax and Starfield, people were saying that this is exclusive. Like, this is exclusive. It should be exclusive. It shouldn't go hit. Like, these are, and even people within the community, they want this stuff to be exclusive. And listen, if you say you want this to be exclusive and it shouldn't release on PlayStation, that does not make you a bad person. There's this weird stigma going on right now where you got a lot of people trying to push this negative viewpoint on you, or try to make you look like a bad guy or bad person because you want something to be exclusive. You saying you want something to either remain exclusive or be exclusive to your platform of choice where you spend your money, where you've bought your console, does not make you a bad gamer, does not make you somebody that's anti-gaming community or whatever these weird labels they like to put on people now. It doesn't make you a fanboy or nothing like that, because at the end of the day, even for the Xbox side of things, they also want shit to be exclusive. Don't let people fool you. These people want this stuff to be exclusive, which is why the conversation of exclusivity keeps coming up. Because at the end of the day, that stuff is just as important to them, but because the messaging, and they've stood on this for so long, but because the messaging from Microsoft has shifted so much, they don't want to be caught out on a battlefield with the pants hanging, caught with their pants down. They care. It's the same thing how, and even though I don't talk about it as much anymore, or me and Barry don't talk about it as much on WUPS, go back to WUPS 2 years ago. Go back to WUPS 3 years ago, when me and Barry were vehemently against PlayStation putting games on PC. To this day, I don't agree with it. To this day, I still don't agree with it, but that's how the cookie crumbles. I'm not going to keep talking about it. My stance. My stance does. If you ask me, Persona, how you feel about Spider-Man 2 releasing on PC? Dog shit. It shouldn't be there. They don't deserve it. Move it on. I'm not going to cry over spilt milk. It's there. It's happening. But the messaging with PlayStation is clear. And we're seeing it play out as it is. Microsoft, not so much. But this is why the conversation of exclusivity and things like that keeps coming up whenever Phil Spencer is interviewed, either by Gamertag or by Destin, or even when was it not the Game Awards, but it was it Gamescom? Yeah, even at Gamescom, the messaging from Gamescom. So last year, 2024, beginning of 2024, it was only those 4 games, right? It was Sea of Thieves, it was Grounded, it was Hi-Fi Rush. What was the 4th game? I forgot the 4th game. Somebody in the chat will tell me. But it was only those 4 games. Don't expect nothing more. Blah blah blah. Okay. People were saying, well, and I said this at the beginning of last year when they did it. I said, okay, if it's only those 4 games and it's a test, what are you testing? It was the same thing with PlayStation with the whole testing shit on PC. Testing for what? And if the test is successful, oh, Pentiment, thank you. Shout out to y'all. Pentiment. If the test is successful, what is the next logical step? Simple question, simple concept, simple question. I'm no fanboy. No, it's just a simple question. Oh, it's only those 4 games. Why are you expecting anything more? Ponies are begging for game. First of all, I ain't begging for shit, cause your boy's got a PC and all this other stuff. I pre-ordered what's that game? South of Midnight, which looks fantastic, by the way. I cannot wait for that game. I pre-ordered that on my PC. I'm not waiting for that to come to no PlayStation. I pre-ordered it on PC. That's a game that I'm excited for, and I can't wait to play. I'm gonna support that where I'm able to play it when it releases. I'm not gonna say, well, even though I own all this stuff in my house, I'm still gonna wait to play it on my preferred console. Then why you own all this shit? And that's the other thing with like people that like these multi-console owners that like to get a. I really want to get into the reaction, but let me get on my soapbox real quick, man. The gaming community is just so full of posers, man. Like, I hate using like a 90s ass word like that, posers, but just like posers, bro. Like just people that just pretend, bro. People that run around online and use their multi-console owner as like that's like their whole personality. Well, you know, it absolves them from any type of criticism, or it gives them the ability to be able to speak about whatever because they own every fucking thing. Well, you know, I am a multi-console owner, so you know, as a multi-console owner, you know, I'm able to speak on this even though I have not played the game. I do have the ability to play the game, but I'm waiting for it to come to my console of choice. Like, dude, sit the fuck down. Like, let me get off my soapbox because this whole show can just be me ranting about that. But we've done those rants too much in our gaming live. So let's move on. So yeah, listen. Shout out to Destin. Destin, I did like the video. I know I know this reaction to get back to Destin. I know. Oh, he's probably watching. Shout out to you, Destin. Appreciate you. I did like the video, Destin, before I do my live reaction. So don't go trying to strike down this podcast. I liked it, all right? And they know it's your goddamn channel, okay, Destin? Cool. All right, let's get into it, man. Oh, hold on. Let me Oh. There we go.
If you would like to do so, you can go to patreon.com/save.
Oh, damn, Destin, you got this in 4K?
Plus, or
hey, that boy, Destin, okay. I see you, Destin, 4K. I only got 1440p 60, so you feel me? That boy got that 4K. I'm with it.
I'm a member here on YouTube. Phil Spencer, thank you.
Destin, it's Philip Bartholomew J. Spencer. Put some respect on my boy name.
So much for joining me after an incredible direct. How are you feeling after that show?
Oh, I love direct. I mean, for me, there's obviously I see all the behind the scenes. So the teams and the studios putting all their work, letting us come in with our cameras and record stuff. And then seeing the community and how.
Hey, yo, shout out to Viper Reefs Corner. Appreciate you for the super chat. He says, my PS5 is collecting so much dust, I barely turn it on. That's what they say, bro. Then why you own it? Bro, people was clamoring to get the Pro just to not turn this shit on. Well, there's no games in there. Like, bro, then sell it. Then sell it. Get rid of it. Like, anyway, let's get into the show. Shout out to Destin.
But responded is fantastic. So we all watched it together. We got together in a room here, even though we'd seen it so many times, but we still just get a ton of energy from it. It was a good day. Good day.
Everyone really seemed to love it. Ninja Gaiden was a huge get. Props to CJ for doing some production work, I imagine, on that one. It's one of his favorite games.
Yo, that definitely was a surprise at the direct as well. Like that Ninja Gaiden 2 Black remake, shadow dropping like that. That was dope. That was gangster. Shout out to Phil on that. That was gangster, Phil. I like that. That was gangster as hell.
Games. Can you give us a bit more of a peek into the Japan trip that made that happen?
All right, we're gonna skip ahead a little bit. Phil, I get it. You went to Japan, you know, you had you some you did your thing, drank you some sake and all that, and tried to talk. All right, cool. We know. Redefining Xbox fans. Let's start there.
We do.
Yo, first of all, shout out to Destin as well, man, for putting timestamps. I appreciate you, Destin. All right, thank you. It makes my job a lot easier when it comes to reacting to this shit. So shout out to you. I appreciate you, Destin. Keep doing your thing.
I want to take a bunch of questions from fans, from patrons who wrote in, and one of the pressing questions was about Satya Nadella's comments saying we're redefining what it means to be an Xbox fan. So,
guys, my phone is an Xbox. The phone that you're watching this show on right now is an Xbox. Do you have a microwave? Put a 1 in the chat if you have a microwave in your home right now. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you have a microwave in your home right this second. I need to see the ones. Put a 1 in the chat if you have a microwave in your goddamn house. I'm seeing the ones. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That microwave is an Xbox. I'm sorry, let's move on.
What does it mean to be an Xbox fan? Maybe you could define that for us.
This is important. His response here is very important. What does it mean to be an Xbox fan today, right? Because when you think back 20 years ago, 15 years ago, being an Xbox fan meant being a fan of an Xbox console, right? If you were somebody that loved Xbox, you loved playing brute force back on the OG Xbox, some of y'all that don't know, Brute Force was a great game. Brute Force was Gears before Gears. It's not up for debate. Anyway, Brute Force, Gears, Halo, all that shit, right? That's what made the Xbox fans, the Forzas and all that stuff. That's what an Xbox fan was if you went back 20 years, 25 years, however long, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever. No, not 30. It's been like 20 years. So like 20 years. Now, let's hear what Phil Spencer has to say.
Now, let me start. This is my answer. Sati didn't talk about his answer. I'll just say, I don't think I get to define what it means to be a fan of Xbox, right?
Oh, man. Come on, Phil. I'm sorry to keep starting and stopping this live reaction. Come on, Philip. Phil, brother. Phil, pull up a chair. Phil, I need you to pull up a chair. Phil, pull up a chair. What? Phil, I had you over for Thanksgiving. You was in my house. You cut the turkey. How dare you spit in the faces of all Xbox fans by saying that bullshit? Phil, you know better. Philip Bartholomew J. Spencer, you know better. What do you mean you can't define what an Xbox fan is when you're the head of the Xbox division? An Xbox fan is I'm sorry. Let me continue. Let him get the whole answer out, and then we'll talk.
It's like your experience in the platform is different than mine. It's different from other players. So I think everybody builds their own personal connection to the platform. The thing that's really driving us is how do we continue to innovate to make the best games possible? And when we look at the world today, the best games, the biggest games, the one...
Yo, let me tell you something. Y'all might not have caught that. Phil is media trained. Like this man got like A1 media training. You see how there was a direct question that Destin asked him. What is an Xbox fan today? How do you define that? And he shifted. He answered it slightly, kind of dodged it, and shifted to talking about the games they're making. That is A1 media training. Bravo, Phil Spencer. Bravo. I love that redirect. That's A1 redirection right there. Take notes. For those that love to debate, learn. You can learn from Phil Spencer. The man's wordplay, his gift for gab, A1. A1. I love it, Phil. Keep going.
That fuel kind of reinvestment in new games that are coming or games that are available in as many places as possible. So I want Xbox as a platform to be world-class at connecting players and creators wherever those players might be. And whether it's on cloud, whether it's on PC, whether it's on our own hardware and our own platform, which we love, or other places, we're constantly working at Xbox to make sure that everybody can play the games that they want to play. One of the things...
So he pretty much answered the question. What is an Xbox fan today? If you own a PlayStation, you're an Xbox fan. If you own a Nintendo, you're an Xbox fan. If you own an Xbox, you're an Xbox fan. If you own a PC, you're an Xbox fan. If you own a refrigerator, you're an Xbox fan. If you own a smart car, you're a fucking Xbox fan. If you own a TV, you're an Xbox fan. This Gatorade bottle is an Xbox fan. Everything is an Xbox. That is what an Xbox fan is today. The head of Microsoft, of the Xbox division, Phil Spencer, is saying, wherever you play the games is how he does not want to put a definitive definition on what a fan is, because everybody's relationship with the brand is different. That's what he just said. Not my words, his. So if all games are releasing on PlayStation and Nintendo or other places, an Xbox fan is now not limited to an Xbox console or even to the Xbox ecosystem. It's wherever you enjoy our games from first party is what an Xbox fan is. So if you buy Indiana Jones and the Great Circle on PlayStation this spring, you're an Xbox fan. If you buy listen, as much as we talk, I don't agree with that stance at all. Like, I think an Xbox fan should be strictly limited to people that are fans of the console, of the brand, because I feel like opening it up like that and just saying like, oh, wherever you play is you're a fan, it muddies up it. One, it muddies up the waters, but two, I personally think it hurts the legacy of Xbox as a console, right? As much as people like to harken on Xbox and make jokes on Microsoft and all this other stuff, Xbox has done a lot of things within this games industry over this past 20 years or so that has been within the industry that I just feel like is being diminished and just being looked over because of because of the position that Microsoft is in now. It just feels like the console itself does not have the respect that it had 10, 15 years ago. And I think that sucks. But at the same time, and again, I think we're all gamers in here. None of us are business, well, at least not business analysts at Microsoft. Well, some of y'all might be, I don't know. But anyway, from a business perspective, when you're looking at what Microsoft has done within the industry the past, 3 or 4 years, 5 years of acquisitions and locking things down, this is the situation. Investors want their money. You got Satya cutting you $70 billion checks. Exclusivity, who? You got Dane on Game Pass. Exclusivity, who? I need my money back, player. The board of directors want the bread. The investors want the bread back. Player, partner. Shout to Friday. It ain't happening. It sucks though. It really does suck.
Things I was really proud of yesterday at Showcase was we opened the show with the announcement that all of these games are play anywhere. And it was kind of just a text announcement, but for those of us that are playing on our handheld, like our Steam Decks, our Allies, or our Lenovo, like
prototypes,
console, like all of it matters that my save game moves with me. Like I wouldn't want to have to start Indie again because I'm playing on a different platform, on a different device. I want to be able to play the games that I'm playing everywhere. And I think we learn a lot as a platform by innovating in that space. So let's continue to innovate as a platform to allow the best games. And then from a fan standpoint, I think Showcase is a good example of this. Let's make sure the best games will be on Xbox and that people will be able to play it, whether from our studios or other studios, and it's the best place to play those games.
In order to be the best place, some of your competition have been utilizing AI features. So would the next Xbox use AI to improve graphics or enhance things in another way?
I think it's really important in the AI space that we take the same lens of how do we use AI to make the player experience better or the creator experience better. We already have kind of auto up-res technologies, whether it's from NVIDIA, from us, from AMD, Sony's rolled out.
No, that's the talk about, or I don't know if that's Destin's question. I think that might be a Patreon question that Destin is asking. But regardless if it's Destin asking that or if that's a Patreon question that he's asking, and this is what I mean. As much as people shitting on PSSR, they want Microsoft to do the same shit. Because we know that FSR is already available, DLSS and all that stuff is being utilized. That's not the question. And FSR is already being utilized in the Xbox. So if this person that's asking the question, and I believe, again, I don't think this is Destin, I think it's a Patreon question. The Patreon supporter that's asking the question is asking that because they want something proprietary like what PlayStation is doing. They want that. That's why the question's being asked. Now, he probably tried to tiptoe around it. See, me, I'm a straight shooter. I'm gonna ask the question like straight. If I was a Patreon supporter on Destiny shit and I was typing that question up, I'd ask it straight up. So we know PlayStation is using PSSR, a proprietary AI machine learning graphics enhancing technology within the PS5, and we believe is going to be utilized in the PS6 and be even better. What is Microsoft doing to counteract that with their own proprietary AI upscaling technology to rival that of PlayStation? Listen, you gotta be direct. You got to be direct. Like, enough of this dancing around the bush trying to not come off as a fanboy or whatever because you scared what. Man, fuck what people going to think. Ask the goddamn question the way you really want to ask it. Because that's how I'd ask this straight up. Like, yo, are you going to be building out your own proprietary AI upscaling technology like PlayStation PSSR? Straight up, that's it. Ask the question, man. Don't tiptoe, because when you tiptoe and you aren't direct with your questions, you don't get direct answers, and then you leave the interview still not having your questions answered and still wondering. No, I'm going to ask you a direct question, and I want a direct answer. Y'all know, yo, listen, y'all been watching my show and my channel for a long time. Y'all been watching What's Up PlayStation for a long time. Y'all have heard me in spaces for a long time when I used to debate these dudes in spaces and ask them direct questions. I'm the same everywhere. I ask direct questions because I need a direct answer. I ask my questions the way I ask them for a reason. I ask my questions the way I ask them for a reason because I'm looking for a direct answer that cannot be disputed. It can't be misconstrued. It can't be misunderstood. Direct question, direct answer. I don't make the rules. But what do I know?
Out theirs as well. I think that can help, especially when you think about battery life product devices that are battery driven, where power is important. More resolution means more power. So if you can actually use techniques to up-res a screen, actually makes the battery life longer. But when we think about AI at a fundamental level, it's, does it make our creators' jobs easier? Does it allow them to do things that they've never done before? And then on the player side, most of our AI investments today are all around safety and how we're kind of making sure our services are as safe as they can possibly be. And we'll continue doing that. Like, it's, if we can make creators' lives easier and they can do things they've never done and make our services more secure and better for.
You see what I mean with my boy Phil? This man is media trained. He went to media training school. He graduated with his PhD in media training, man. This man is, Phil Spencer is one of the smartest men in the game industry right now. The man has got that gift for gab. Man, this guy is brilliant, man. He's brilliant. Because the question is surrounding AI. And he goes into what's best for the developers and trying to utilize the... Listen. Just listen. He's talking about what's easy for developers. And the question is about AI technology. And again, I think part of it is, it goes back to what I was saying. It's not a direct question being asked. So the answer that you're going to get is kind of going to be all over the place, because he goes from talking about the AI piece to talking about what's easy for developers to talk about. Like, you see how like all over the place he is, and he's kind of like, it gives him the freedom to move around and kind of massage the answer in a way that leaves the door open, but then he's not really answering the question. Part of why he's not really answering it the way people want him to answer it is because the question is not being asked the way it should be asked. This is an interview with Phil Spencer. If I got Phil Spencer on, listen, Phil, come through to the show. You feel me? I would love to sit down with you and talk to you. Real talk, respectfully. But if I'm interviewing Phil Spencer, I'm asking direct questions, man. Respectfully, of course. I'm not gonna be rude. I would never be rude. But I'm gonna ask a direct question. Like, and if he can't answer it, then he can't answer it. Like, oh, I can't answer that or whatever, which is fine. But I'm gonna ask those questions directly, because those are the things that these people really want to know. If there is going to be a new Xbox next generation, we know there's going to be a PS6. Is there also going to be a proprietary AI technology like what PSSR is? Because we know that's proprietary, that gives them that advantage to really have developers utilize to get the best, most optimal performance out of a PlayStation console when you're using something like PSSR that's proprietary. Can we see something like that in Xbox, in the next iteration of the Xbox? Is that something that's being thought about? Is that something that the team is thinking about? Something that's proprietary, not FSR, not DLSS, something proprietary that's being built from the ground up with the Xbox console in mind, to give the Xbox the edge within the console market, regardless if they're third place, second place, or whatever. You still are opting to put Xbox consoles out. You're still opting to do a new generation. If that's the case, how are you going to remain competitive within that console space, even if you are third party, second party, whatever you choose to do with releasing your games? how are you still going to remain competitive within that space with your counterparts like Xbox, like PlayStation and Nintendo? Those are important questions because you're putting this console out because you want people to buy the console. Clearly. But what do I know? I'm just a PlayStation fanboy, so the critics say.
For our players, like that's definitely a worthwhile investment.
Got it. Is that sort of what was meant by, or at least partially, the largest technical leap you have ever seen in a hardware generation? Stated at, what was it, last year's show?
I think that was Sarah's line.
Mm.
I think Sarah runs our hardware team. Like, I think she's really excited by the innovation that we're seeing in hardware, and frankly, not just from us. But when you look in the industry right now, I mean, CES, the headlines around new form factors for people playing video games on different devices, the Switch 2 announced was cool to see. So I think we went through a period in gaming where there was either a desktop or a laptop or a console, and that was kind of it to play video games. Now you've got, LG. We announced that you can play games there. You can stream games to different devices. So one of the things is just how many different devices are able to play the AAA video games that people love, and then making sure that our next devices are devices that are really defined by innovation and differentiation. And I love the roadmap that the team's putting together there.
You brought up CES, so I'm going to go there. How are those Xbox handheld prototypes you teased to Bloomberg coming along?
You have to use.
All right, we don't want to hear about the handheld.
Are all Xbox games going to PlayStation someday, or will there still be exclusives? How are those red lines looking these days?
Now, I like this question, and again, I think this is a Patreon question. Somebody like a Patreon asking. That's a great question. Very direct, very to the point. You can't dance around that. Let's see how Phil answers this question.
The red line, just to be clear, was of me responding to an answer. I sometimes gets positioned if I kind of ran out with a red lines T-shirt on. We are finding that our games shipping on multiple platforms is a good thing for Xbox. It makes Xbox stronger.
You can stop right there. That's first of all, that's that is crazy to say, yo. Like, essentially letting people know, like, putting games on other platforms helps them, which it does, because that's more money going into Microsoft's pocket. So from a business perspective, absolutely it does. Like, he's not wrong in saying that. It's true. There's more money going into their pocket, which gives them more the ability to, do more, invest more, whatever it is they're going to do. If you got those games releasing on all those other platforms, obviously I think that's the thinking behind that. But to say that it makes Xbox stronger, and again, this goes back to the blurred lines. It doesn't make the Xbox, in my opinion, it doesn't make the Xbox console stronger, because in a market where the Xbox console is in the area of the industry where the Xbox console is the weakest, you're putting your games on the competing platforms, which diminishes the value and the brand of the Xbox console itself entirely. And in my opinion, again, I'm somebody, I love consoles. Console gaming I think is still very important. It still has a place within the industry, but that's kind of crazy. And obviously, I think, and I don't think Phil Spencer would ever say this, right? But to say that he's not, in my opinion, again, this is just from where I sit, I do not think he's talking about, like, the console itself. You can't say that and then also think the console is also going to thrive off of that, because you're putting the games on a more popular platform where the mind share is already there. And if you go back to interviews where Phil Spencer has talked in the past about, they're not in the business of trying to out Nintendo or out PlayStation or outdo Nintendo or PlayStation, right? People's libraries are already locked in where they're at and all these other different things. In the interview that he did on Kind of Funny, I think last year or the year before. So that, using that logic and thought process to say that, I think also in the back of their mind, I would think that they would also think, well, The console is not going to grow anymore. That's dead. But we'll keep putting it out, but we'll make the money where we know it will sell, respectfully.
It lets us do shows like we did with Showcase with great games, give our game time teams the time they need for us to invest in platform, for us to invest in hardware. I think all of this is part of what Xbox is going to be when we go forward. When you ask the question like no, I mean, there's Xbox games that have shipped that we're not going to put on other platforms. Some of the things we'll look at how they do, but you're going to see more games, not just shipping on PlayStation, shipping on Nintendo. We'll continue to support Steam the way that they ship. We want our games to be in places that people play. We think that enables us to do more on platform, do more on hardware, and it's a good system for us that works. It doesn't mean every other.
I'll add in another caveat to that. I think they also want games to release in places where people will buy the games. It goes back to what I said with the game. Listen, and I'm not saying Game Pass is evil or nothing like that. We've hammered that conversation into the ground for years. There's no need to bring that conversation up per se. But I will say that, and I stand by this. I've always said that I think Microsoft should renege on day and date holistically and treat that as a case-by-case basis. But at the same time, if you're putting $200 million into a game and it going into a service, a subsidized service at that, you stand to lose more than you gain, especially if the subscription numbers do not reflect the return on that investment with that game. As we can see with Call of Duty, did it move the needle? Yes, but in a significant way, I don't believe so. And that's one of the most popular titles out right now. But what do I know?
Companies got to do it that way. But it does mean, I think, that measuring our progress is different than maybe we measured the progress of Xbox or a console-only platform 10 years ago. It's why we talk a lot about players. I think a lot about the hours that people play on our platform, where we're seeing growth. And this has enabled us to grow in places that we don't normally. Our fastest growing region right now is Asia in terms of players. And I think about hours. Our fastest growing hours is on cloud. It's us finding players in places that people want to go play. They want to buy a console. They want to buy a gaming desktop. Great. Our games will be awesome there. Our consoles will be a great place to play. But let's let games live where players want to play them.
Got it. I remember a speech.
So in other words, they're not in the business of trying to bring players to the ecosystem. They'll bring the games to wherever the ecosystem is that they like to play. Again, this goes back to what Phil Spencer said in that XCast kind of funny interview. People's digital libraries, they're not going to leave their digital libraries. So to spend the amount of money, the mind share between Nintendo and PlayStation is just, it's insurmountable. Like it's massive. To penetrate that is very, very difficult. Very, very difficult, especially in the likes of Nintendo, So I think, for Phil Spencer and team, I think they're in the mindset of now is not the time for us to try to play, for lack of a better term, console war and try to outdo Nintendo or PlayStation, because they can't in the console space. They can't. And that's not me saying that the Xbox is a bad platform, and that's not me saying that that's not me saying they can't find success within the console space. What I'm saying is, for the Xbox, and I think Phil Spencer and team realize this, we're not going to see the numbers that Nintendo or PlayStation see when it comes to consoles being bought, when it comes to mindshare, and when it comes to games being bought on the platform. And I'm not talking from a first-party perspective. I'm talking holistically. We're just not. So what is the next best option, especially after making almost $100 billion spending almost $100 billion in acquisitions over the last 5 or 6 years? What do? The next best thing, we'll just go everywhere and get all the money, 70% of it, and just make all the money and still put the console out and still make get the residuals off of that and still have Game Pass going as well. So now they got 3 revenue streams. They've got the revenue stream of all of everyone. So Nintendo, PlayStation, PC, phones, wherever. They've got the revenue stream of Game Pass, and they've got the revenue stream of the console. So now they have 3 revenue streams that's all funneling into their gaming division and into their gaming business, funding the business holistically, putting them back in the green, making sure that they're making money. They got 3 revenue streams. I don't agree. I think exclusives are still important, but from a business perspective of what Phil Spencer and the team are trying to do, that's what it is. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys agree. Put a 1 in the chat if you're following the conversation so far. Put a 1 in the chat if you're enjoying my reaction to this interview. And be honest, you can put a 2 if you're not feeling it. I won't block you. The mods might. I won't though. Now the mods might. Listen, I can't control the mods, man. The mods might say, "Oh, you don't like it? Then why are you here?" I can't control that. Nah, the mod's not gonna block you. But if you put a 2, it's okay. Yo, shout out to Hayabusa with the 2. He ain't feeling it. He said, "Nah, man, this ain't it." Yo, shout out to Hayabusa, man. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to y'all in the chat. All right, let's continue.
You made at some point, it was something like, we're doing 4 games. Those games aren't Indiana Jones and Starfield. Indiana Jones has an exclusivity window, to be fair. Can you solidify that Starfield staying put for the time being?
No, like I'm not. There's no specific.
Wait. Hey, yo, wait. Wait a second. Hey, yo, the man straight up said no. Like, hold up. And like, yo. Hey, yo, hold up, man. I gotta watch that again. That was funny as hell, bro. Because he straight up said no. Like, yo, I gotta clip that.
Solidify that Starfield staying put for the time being?
And then what's funny is, what's so funny is like, yo, Phil Spencer's like, he already got the answer in his head as soon as he heard Starfield. But like, he played it off like he tried to think when he really already knew he was gonna say no. And then like, yo, Destin is kind of shit. Destin kind of like got like this hopeful look on his face. I hope he says yes. Shout out to you, Destin. I appreciate you, bro. But he straight up was just like, no.
Field staying put for the time being?
No, like, I'm not. There's no specific game that I. This
Oh,
kind of goes
shit.
back to my.
Hey, yo, listen. Hey, yo, I love gaming, man. I love the game industry. I love game community. I love it, bro. Like, this shit's funny. This shit is funny as hell.
red line answer.
Mhm.
Like, there's no reason.
And it's funny too, because I don't know if that's, again, I don't know if that's a Destin question. I feel like that's a Destin question and not a Patreon question because he wasn't looking on his other screen to read off the question. So I'm assuming that's a Destin question. If it's not, then I take my L there. But if that is a Destin question, it doesn't make any sense to ask that after you just heard him talk about there are no lines, there are no red lines when it comes to exclusivity and how they want they want to bring their games to where the game is. He just said that literally in the very last question that you asked from the Patreon. So it doesn't make any sense to ask about Starfield exclusivity when he just got finished explaining that there are no red lines. And he even reiterates in his answer, like, there are no red lines. So why, if there's no red lines, why assume that Starfield would still remain exclusive? It's just a matter of when they'll put it on other platforms, but it's a matter of when, not if. So why ask the question? In my opinion, I feel like that was, and again, I don't know if that's a Destin question or a Patreon question. Who knows? Whatever. I just don't feel like that was, even if it was a Patreon question, I feel like that's not a question that should have been asked, because it again, the last conversation was literally laying out what the plans are and what the vision is under Microsoft. So I don't understand that. But let's continue.
Reason for me to put a ring fence around any game and say this game will not go to a place that it would find players where it would have business success for us. What we find is we're able to drive a better business that allows us to invest in great game lineup, like you saw.
Like he's reiterating the same answer again. Like, that's why I'm just like, I don't think That's something he should have asked. Dizzy, you know what I mean.
And that's our strategy, right? Our strategy is to allow our games to be available. Game Pass is an important component of playing the games on our platform. But to keep games off of other platforms, we don't think is the path that that's not a path for us. It doesn't work for us. What we're doing now, we think really enables us to build the best platform for the world's best games, because the world's biggest games are available in multiple places. And more creators are asking us, how do we stay connected when our game might be playable in all these different places? And we want Xbox to be absolutely the platform that enables that. We think that makes us unique. Most of the other platforms out there are single platform on single device, whether that's PC, whether it's mobile, whether it's a console. And we want Xbox to be a platform that enables creators across any screen that people want to play on.
I hear you. That makes absolutely perfect sense to me. I do think that some fans are a little concerned about how should I say it? Xbox losing its.
Destin, you a part of that camp too. Don't act like you're not concerned. Come on, Destin. Don't try. Oh, the fans are concerned, so I'm gonna ask about. No, you care too, Destin, and that's okay, Destin. You care. We all care, because Xbox is losing its identity. And you care, Destin. Some fans care. They're worried about that. No, you care too, Destin. And that's okay. That does not make you a bad gamer. That does not make you a bad person. You care. We all care. Come on, Destin. Don't do that. Don't try to put it on the fans when you know you care as well.
Identity, maybe? What would you say to address those concerns from longtime fans?
Like yourself.
Well, one, I hear them, right? I'm pretty active in our player base, and I'm active in the community. I listen. I think our identity will continue to evolve, which it frankly always has. But when I hear concerns about, is my library of games safe? Am I still going to be able to play the games? And I think over the years, I'm proud of the commitment we've shown to respecting purchases on our platform through back compat, through cross entitlement, Xbox Play Anywhere, through crossplay, things that we've done.
Yo, Bass was good. No cap was good. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man.
So I hear that when I think about I see the investments we're making in platform and how we want Xbox to show up in multiple places and your library to be available there. When I think about buy to stream, so if I buy a game, I'll be able to stream it to devices. Like, this is all about making sure that your library of games that you own on Xbox are playable in multiple places. So I'd say it's an evolution.
Multiple places outside of Xbox, ergo losing Xbox identity. So yeah, Xbox is again losing its identity because the vision is now not just the Xbox console, it's PC, it's mobile, it's PlayStation, it's everything. So yes, it is Xbox, the console. Xbox is losing its identity, in my opinion. But what do I know?
Of our identity, but I believe it's an identity that this industry needs.
Say that again, Phil. I ain't hear that. I thought I heard something crazy.
Are playable in multiple places. So I'd say it's an evolution of our identity, but I believe it's an identity that this industry needs.
What? Let me let him finish it. Let me finish your thought. I need to hear this whole thing first.
When you think about where this industry is now and you see the challenges, the business challenges that are out there for many companies, that I think us keep making games more accessible to more people has just got to be front and center for us as an industry, so we continue to see great games that we've seen over the years.
This video was made possible by patrons and YouTube members. If you'd like to support, you can go to patreon.com.
Hey, yo, that's crazy to see. Yo, Destin, you snuck that in? You there? You snuck that in after that question? Come on, Destin. You snuck that in. That's crazy. That boy slick. He snuck that in. He slick. That ain't no ad. Cause I got YouTube Premium, so I ain't seen no ads. That he slipped that into the actual video, man. That's nasty work, Destin. Ooh-wee. Hey, listen, you gotta get your bread though. You gotta get your coins, your ducats. I ain't even mad at you, brother. Go and slip that in and let them know.
You think I did good work. Now let's get back to it. You talked a little bit about how Xbox is growing in Asia. Could you elaborate
Hey,
more?
Destiny, you slick. You slipped that in there, boy. Ooh, because he knew people. You know, people gonna be live reacting. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make sure I get some folks from your shit to sub on my shit. I respect it. Listen, Destiny, I respect the hustle, brother. Do your thing, man.
On Xbox's plan to grow outside of the US? I know you mentioned China as being an interesting territory to look at, but is there any more you could talk about there?
We're seeing a lot of growth on PC.
Oh yeah, I'm good on that.
PC Game Pass is doing really
Oh,
well.
multi-platform future. Yeah, let's hear that. Let's hear what he say about that.
It's just top notch.
Do you see the market going more in that direction, just as an anecdote? Because you're talking about releasing basically anywhere the players are. Some people are still doing traditional models, but the industry is making $300 million games now, and they're looking for new revenue growth sectors. Where do you see the games industry, not just Xbox, but the games industry going with that regard?
It's already there, and I know they're not always the games that all the community talks about, but I see the most played games on the platform. And when you look at the most played games, you're looking at games that are available on any screen from the creators. If you think about a Fortnite, you think about a Roblox, a Minecraft, a Call of Duty, a Genshin, like you look at these games and they have tremendous success because they're available anywhere, from small screen to big screen. I'm able to log in and play the games that I want to go play. And those are the games that are at the top of revenue and the top of players on every platform, and have been for a while. I remember it was a few years ago, I made some comment about single player games not having the same impact that they used to have. And I got a bunch of
King Royal, what up, bro?
kind of grief for that. But what I was just saying is I love playing single player games. I love the fact that in our showcase, every one of those games is a single player game. Beginning, middle, and end, I can go play those games. But when I saw the business and where the kind of hours and revenue was going, I was worried that if $70 was your only solution to selling a big single player game, that you might run into just the money and the time are going to other games. And this is kind of part of Game Pass's genesis and what we were trying to do there. And it's helped us. It's helped us to support those games. But I wouldn't look at you like you position kind of as a forward look. And I get it. Yes, I think you're going to continue to see more and more games available on more screens. But frankly, it's today. When you look at the biggest games in the world, they're available in a ton of geos and on many different screens. And that's what.
So I partially agree with Phil Spencer here, because when you look at multi-platform or like a multi-platform future, he is right. A lot. Even from PlayStation, most of their gas games are on PC. Like that is a platform outside of PlayStation, so it is ergo multi-platform by definition. And then obviously with what Microsoft is doing, the only one that's kind of playing catch up or hasn't really delved too deeply into that is Nintendo. But even with PlayStation's most recent title with Lego Horizon, that released on a Nintendo platform. So with what Phil Spencer is saying here, I agree with. What I don't agree with is the idea that using Fortnite, COD, Roblox, or whatever, those are outlier. And obviously, he's the money man. He's a businessman, right? Like he has to run a successful business first before anything else. So he has to look at the what would be most lucrative. But there are certain outliers within the gaming industry that I personally think you cannot use as a metric to gauge the success of other titles. So the Fortnites, the Call of Duties, the GTAs, the Roblox, and things like that make an immense amount of money monthly, weekly, daily. That is not something that is a sustainable excuse me, that is not something that is, in my opinion, sustainable across the entire industry when it comes to pushing that type of model. Now, this goes back to something that Sean Layden, shout out to Sean Layden. This is something that Sean Layden has talked about quite a bit, both on our show, on me and Bari's show, on What's Up PlayStation podcast, and he's talked about this in interviews where, and again, I agree here with what Phil Spencer's saying. The budget for games have definitely gone up significantly. So to sustain that or to support that, it's definitely going to take a lot more dollars or a lot more purchases to sustain to one, recoup the cost to make the game, but also get some ROI on that. You understand? Get some money back. Don't just recoup the cost. You're trying to get profit. You feel me? So, and something that Sean Layden has said numerous of times is, every game doesn't need to be 200, 300 million. Games need to be smaller, which I do agree. I do think that, getting those smaller titles out there, or titles that are a little bit more reined in a little bit. Obviously, you still want to have the big blockbuster, knock your socks off titles, right? But game development, and again, I'm on the outside looking in, right? So I'm not in game development per se. So, this is all from just like on the outside looking in, right? Obviously there may be people that are listening that are more privy to what's going on in the back rooms when it comes to game development, when it comes to funding and all that may be more privy to me. So, this is just me from a gamer perspective on the outside looking in. So pardon my ignorance if I come off as such. But when it comes to game development, obviously you still want the 200, $300 million games, because honestly, that's what the industry has made people be used to. But what has also happened is when you have those outliers like the Fortnites and all these other titles that release and make billions of dollars every year and continuously smash records, you've got the money men and you've got the business side looking at that success and then looking at everything else and saying, you need to be like that. That also is not sustainable, because when you start doing that, you start getting what you get with PlayStation, where you get failure after failure after cancellation after cancellation after cancellation when it comes to that games as a service push, because you're looking at that and saying, I want that and everything needs to be that. When we're seeing what I'm saying, we're see play out with PlayStation. They've canceled 5, 6, 8 projects, studio closures. Chasing the dragon can also lead you off a cliff and failures. So I agree with Phil Spencer on one end of the spectrum, but I also disagree on the other, where the business side, I think, can't look at everything and say everything within the industry needs to be that and be that level of success. Because if we do that, 1, you start getting the same thing. 2, you start getting more failures. 3, you start getting more layoffs. And 4, creativity dies, which is something that Sean Layden has talked about a lot as well when it comes to chasing those big AAA titles. Creativity dies. And in a world where people say that they want something new, they're tired of the same old thing. And obviously in this day and age, a lot of gamers, they say that shit to virtual signal and to sound good on the internet. But really and truly, they don't give a fuck, because when you look at the wrap-ups, it'd be the same titles every year. The sports titles, the CODs, and they ain't playing no RPGs. They ain't playing no single-player games. They playing the same shit, right? So as much as people say they want something new, as much as people say they want different things, the wrap-ups tell a different story. And I'm not just talking PlayStation wrap-ups. Look at the Steam wrap-ups. Look at the Xbox wrap-ups. The wrap-ups tell a very different story when it comes to what people say they want versus what people are actually playing, buying, and supporting. So as much as I'm saying what I'm saying, the people in the back are clearly, they see what's really going on, and that's why the industry is moving in the way that it's moving. But it's failing because everything can't be that. That also is not sustainable. As much as the $300 million AAA titles is not a sustainable model either, for every title to be at that budget, which I agree, that's a very unsustainable model. Trying to do the opposite side of that and trying to chase the Fortnite money, the COD money, the Roblox money, and have everything be that also is not sustainable, as we're seeing with PlayStation in their studios being the examples. As much as the Game Pass thing, and we're seeing that that's not sustainable, or let me not just single out Game Pass. Let me say live game subscription-based gaming model, right? As much as we see that is also not sustainable, and Microsoft has to be the guinea pig for that, PlayStation is the guinea pig for trying to make everything a games as a service, live service, and chasing that Fortnite money, chasing that purple dragon. You may disagree, you may agree. That's what it is. But what do I know? The critics say I'm just a fanboy. All right, let's continue.
What creators want.
We touched on it a little bit already, but a lot of people asked this question. It was in regards to the no red lines comment again, in regards to Halo, and they're wondering what is the value proposition to owning, say, an Xbox console or being in the Xbox ecosystem.
So that's a good question. Shout out to whoever asked that question, the Patreon supporter. That's a good question. Why buy Xbox? I couldn't have been in the Patreon chat because I'd have put why buy an S, not an Xbox, an S-Boss. Y'all know how I say S-Boss. That's my saying. People that say it now, they got that from me. I was the one saying S-Boss way, way back in the day during the council days. Ask Barry, ask Michi, ask Court. They'll tell you, S-Boss come from me. Anyway, the S-Box. Why buy S-Box? Let's hear what he's going to say.
You're going to be able to play your games that you buy with us in many different places. Your state, your save game. Like, quick story, a friend of mine who I work with, she's younger.
This is a good redirect. Pay attention. That's that media training, redirecting.
Than I am. She never played the Gears games.
Oh.
So we're going through and playing Gears from back, started on 1, we're now on 3. They're all co-op, so we're playing together. And, you know, the simple thing like logging in and seeing my save game from 2011 kind of populate, and I still get to go play. You know, like the experience that you're going to have on Xbox is we respect your progress on our platform and the games that you own with us. We're going to make available in more places, whether it's buy to stream and you can stream to the devices that are near you on console or PC. Like that, I think that's our value proposition of Xbox. And on the hardware side, I want us to innovate and make the hardware the differentiator. Like we've gotten into this space where the differentiation on the hardware has gone down and it's really been locked games that you've tried to make the identity of the hardware. I love when I see handhelds, when I see kind of unique things that hardware manufacturers do.
I feel like he's saying a whole lot of nothing, right? There's certain tidbits in there, certain things that you can pluck and glean from this response. But I feel like he's rambling a little bit. Because and maybe it's because I'm a dinosaur, right? I think a lot of us in here are dinosaurs. A lot of us in here, I know there's probably a lot of people who now have transitioned to PC over consoles, which is fine, right? So you may mostly play your games on PC as opposed to playing them on consoles, which is fine. But I know there's a lot of dinosaurs in here that still love the console, right? Like me, like I've got a PC, I've got all the, I've got all this technology and things where I can play games. Like I have no shortage of playing games, right? If my PlayStation were to break right now, I mean, I've got 4 of the PlayStation, not 4, but I got 2 of the PlayStation, so I'm fine. But anyway, I've got a Switch, I got a PC, I have an Xbox, like there is no shortage of me playing games. But the point that I'm trying to make is, for the dinosaurs that still love consoles, and I think the question that the Patreon supporter is asking is because this is most likely somebody that has bought into the Xbox console brand, that ecosystem. And I think that's what he's talking about when he asks the question of like, why buy an Xbox, right? You're talking about, your saves transferring here. Everything that Phil Spencer has answered when it comes to the question that's being asked of why buy an Xbox, his answer revolves around everything you can do outside of the Xbox console, which further gives validity and worry to the person that's asking the question of, well, then why buy an Xbox? If I can do all these things on my phone, on my PC. Here, and listen, obviously the future is the future. Gaming technology things is always evolving. So you're going to have things, save transfer here, cross progression, all. I understand all that, right? I understand those are buzzwords and things that people like to utilize. But for a lot of people, if you're somebody that is bought into the console, if you're a dinosaur that still prefers console gaming, if you're somebody that only plays on console, you come home from work, you eat dinner with your family and the kids, and before you go to bed at night, you pop on the PlayStation or you pop on your Xbox or you pop on your Nintendo and you play the game for an hour or two before you go to bed. What he's saying does not apply to you because you're somebody that's bought into the console ecosystem. And this goes back to the original conversation of the importance of individuality, exclusivity. What makes the console important? What makes the brand, what gives it its individuality? What sets it apart? People want to dance, and when I say people, I don't mean you guys. I'm speaking in general when I say this. People want to dance around that importance, but for a lot of people, that's still very important. People like say, well, exclusives don't sell more than third party. No, they don't. But then there also are some exclusives that do. There are a lot of exclusives that sell more than third party that's available everywhere. But again, if you're somebody that's buying into the ecosystem, buying into the console ecosystem, not the ecosystem across progression and everything. If you're going into a store and buying a console and you're buying an Xbox, the Patreon supporter is asking the question of, why should I buy this if the value in the console has diminished so much? And that's why I say it's important. Like, I think it's a good question to ask, but I think that's why, for me, it's important to ask questions in layers, right? Because when you say why buy an Xbox, you get an answer like what Phil Spencer's give you now. But if you ask the question in, if games are being released everywhere, right, this further diminishes the brand and the value of the Xbox console itself. If the idea from Microsoft is to have your library and everything else be accessible everywhere else, why is it important? Why is it still important for me why is it still important for the console to be bought? Why buy the console? Because I'm gonna be honest, the answer he's giving, it's not a good answer. Like, I don't feel like the question that the answer is, he's not answering the question in a good way. I think it's a big word salad. There's a lot of things going on, and I think part of it has to do with the fact that we all know what the answer is. He probably even knows what the answer is, but you got to save face. You know, you're the head of Xbox. You can't say that. So you got to kind of, this goes back to the media training. You got to be able to maneuver in such a way to where you answer the question, but not really. You get what I'm saying?
And I want our hardware to compete on power and on innovation. So let's have our platform continue to innovate with services and the hardware work that we're doing, whether it's control, whether it's power, mobility, whatever it is that we're focused on. And let's have our games reach you as the person who's investing your time and your money in our games wherever you want to go play. I think that's our identity going forward. And it's working for us now. And I love the innovation that we're able to bring through doing that.
I've had this.
Slow-mo said he is trying to explain what the value is to play in the Xbox platform because they know the value of playing on the Xbox console is devalued and will be further devalued in the future. Absolutely. You know, and that's not no console worship. That's the truth. Like, he has said this at least 10 times now, that your games will be able to play anywhere else, like everywhere else outside of Xbox.
A crazy theory that you're going to lock in a deal with Steam, and Steam's going to be...
We don't care about Steam. Come on now, Destin. Cut it off. Cut it out. Knock it off. Indie AAA support. Are more games coming? What does he mean by that? Let me see.
Behind the games.
Your Dev Direct showed off a stack.
Okay. That's about... No, let me see.
Couple of months. You have Ninja Gaiden now. You have Ninja Gaiden 4 coming this fall. You have South of Midnight on the way, Avowed coming, Doom: The Dark Ages, and that covers you through May 15th and the one fall release. Do you have more coming to reveal at a later date?
We do, and I feel so good about the portfolio.
I have to give it to the Xbox too. They do got a pretty stacked list, right? You do got Doom: The Dark Ages. You know, you got South of Midnight, you got Avowed that are releasing. You know, and I'm talking first party. So yeah, they got a stack list. Then obviously again Ninja Gaiden, and all that stuff. Yeah, this year there's at least two, like Doom: The Dark Ages. That's day one. I can't wait for that. I'm excited for Doom. South of Midnight, can't wait for that. Picking that. That's day one. Excited for that. Avowed. Listen. As of right now, it's a no, right? I'm not really feeling it, but who knows when it releases? And it releases in February, I think, as well. I might check it out. I don't know, but as of right now, actually no, because Monster Hunter Wilds and everything else is coming out. I'm not checking it out, but maybe later on I may check it out. It doesn't look terrible, and the fact that you can play it in third person as well is kind of what is also has me kind of wanting to give it a chance. I'll see. I'm not going to outright say no. I'm gonna say maybe later, but then they got Perfect Dark, Fable, all that other stuff that's supposed to be coming at a later date as well. Whenever and that might be the stuff that gets revealed as well. But they do got some pretty great games that I'm excited for that are releasing. So shout out to them for that.
Where it is. I mean,
let me see. Xbox Phil and Xbox Legacy. Oh, let me see what you're talking about with this right here.
Last one for you. I'm looking at the timeline over the next 10 years for Xbox and realizing you'll be at retirement age in the United States in about the next 10 years. So what do you hope Xbox becomes over that period of time?
That's actually a great question, because throughout the entirety of this interview, and shout out to Dustin, because I like how he kind of brought this back full circle, because at the start of this interview, the first question or what was being talked about was, when they started talking about it, was redefining what an Xbox fan is, right? And kind of speaking about, Phil Spencer was speaking about how, his vision of what an Xbox fan is, or what Xbox has become, or whatever the case may be in the future of, being accessible everywhere and things like that. I like how he brings it back full circle, because, looking at the Xbox's legacy, when you look at the past, I want to say 15, how long has the Xbox been out? 20 years? Yeah, so I want to say probably the last, because the Xbox One generation was really when shit started to, go down. So we'll say Xbox OG and Xbox 360, which was roughly the first 10 years or so of Xbox's life in the game industry. That legacy, even with the Red Ring of Death and all that other stuff that was going on, that was the Xbox OG and Xbox 360 legacy, that's cemented. It's a great legacy that when you think back, right? It had a lot of great games. It had exclusivity. It was competing. It had a lot of things that were not on PlayStation that made you want to buy an Xbox to play. And it had its own titles, and they were doing all these different things, right? And really getting their foot into the gaming space. So when you think Xbox OG and Xbox 360, that legacy is definitely cemented, and I personally think it's in a very positive light. Where things get muddy is the other half of these next two generations, so Xbox One and Xbox Series X and X, S and X, where things start to shift. The TV thing with Xbox One, which really kind of held them back quite a bit. And really had them stumbling out the gate. They still were kind of competing with the exclusive games and things like that, but then you had Game Pass, and they were moving away from doing any type of timed exclusivity deals and all these different things, and then the acquisitions and all this other stuff. The Xbox One and the Xbox X Series consoles generations is where I feel the legacy of Xbox, the console legacy, it takes a hit, right? Like a pretty big hit. Now, looking at the next 10 years, I'm interested to see what Phil Spencer says here.
Huh.
Oh yeah, the media training, they prep him for this one. This is yo shout out to Dustin. This is a good question. And I'm willing to bet money he's also thinking very carefully how he answers this, because again, going back to the beginning of redefining what an Xbox fan is, when you think of that answer and what he says, what is the legacy of Xbox the next 10 years? Because you've already told us that you don't need an Xbox to play these games. So the Xbox console legacy has now been diminished even further. The next 10 years, is there an Xbox? Is it a relic of a past time? Destin definitely stumped him on this question. Good job, Destin. This is great. This was great.
The thing that drives me, there's two things that really drive me. One is more industry, where I have a fundamental belief that gaming is a good thing for the planet, that people coming together with interactive entertainment, talking about the stories that are told, collaborating, cooperating in games. They mentioned I'm playing through Gears and just what an awesome time it is. Some of my best friendships have been built that way. So I want gaming to continue to grow, because I do think it's just a fundamentally important part of entertainment. I think it's better than any other form of entertainment. Yes, I'm biased, but I just love the way it builds community and bring things together. There's always things we should be careful of as an industry and how we learn, but I have a fundamental belief there. So then when I go to Xbox, I want us to be part of that. I don't want us to fall into we do tomorrow what we did yesterday because it's what we've always done. I don't want us to be afraid to innovate. Some of the things will work great, some of them won't. But let's stay nimble, whether it was back compat, which we weren't supposed to do because it was going to hurt game sales on the next gen, whether, it's even like going back to live, but I think about whether it's Game Pass and whether that's a good thing. I remember the debates around whether we should allow free to play on console and should subsidized hardware have free games, and that'll be but like, let's make sure that we stay as a team that's willing to take risks, learn from the things that work and from the things that don't work, and that our teams feel like they can take those risks and be rewarded. We're not perfect there, but it's something I aspire for with the teams. And like, if I could enable anything in my time here, it would be that we continue to innovate, not be defined by what was yesterday, but looking forward to what creators and players want tomorrow.
I like his answer because Phil Spencer Phil Spencer has, I need to go to the school he went to for media training. I've got good media training, from my time and doing different things and meeting developers and going to different cons and stuff like that. But I need that Phil Spencer level media training because he did a good job at tugging at the heartstrings. My heart, I almost shed a tear. He did good at tugging at the heartstrings. This goes back now. The question I would have asked, and this is probably why Phil Spencer will probably never come and talk to me, because if I ask this question, he gonna look at me and say, "Persona, what the fuck are you doing? I can't answer that dumb shit." But I would ask, "Hey, Phil Spencer, do you think Xbox, the console, will be around in the next 10 years?" But who am I? I ain't shit. That's the question I would ask, because that's a direct question with a direct answer. You understand? There's no room to tug at the heartstrings because you're leaving no room for him to do so. But when you ask the question like this, it leaves room to tug at the heartstrings, make you feel good, listen, do that, because I do think what he says, I agree with. Gaming isn't great for the planet, man. Gaming it brings a lot of people together. Like, never mind, Xbox or PlayStation versus, just gaming in general. I agree with him 100%. Gaming brings everyone together, right? It's 140 of you wonderful people, right? It's 140 people for 76 likes. Y'all don't like me like that? 140 and I only got 76 likes. Can your boy at least get 100 likes? Impromptu when Persona speaks. Your boy can't get 100 likes. Do that for your boy. Give me to 100 likes at least. Anyway. You all are watching me because of gaming, right? I've met a lot of great people. Oh yeah, I know the lurkers and the clippers and people that are probably clipping this up. Like, hey guys, look, Persona was he was talking about this and and I know. Anyway, lurkers, if you're lurking, still watch, still hit the like button. You can lurk and hit the like button. I know you clipping the show up and sending it to whoever you send it to. Look at what Persona said here. He just said this about Phil Spencer. He doesn't know he's talking because he's a fanboy. He's such a fan. Go ahead. Anyway, gaming, I've met a lot of great people through gaming, right? A lot of great people. So I agree with him. Gaming is great for the planet. I think, gaming brings people together and all that other stuff. I agree. But the Xbox legacy. And again, this is probably me as a dinosaur gamer. When I hear Xbox, I think the console. So when he's talking legacy, I'm thinking Xbox console legacy. And that's the type of question I would have personally asked. For the Xbox console legacy, where do you see it in 10 years? What do you think the legacy will be in 10 years for the Xbox console? But what do I know?
Bill, that was a really great answer. Thank you.
It was a great answer. It was a great answer. I agree, Dustin. That was a fantastic answer from Phil Spencer. That media training doing good, man. I need you to send me the business card so I can hit them up, take a few classes.
Got it. Oh, I see. Before. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was just looking at the timeline, realizing that, Shuhei Yoshida just retired and Yeah, maybe it's
Good friend of mine. Congrats to him. Like his role in this industry, Ted Price.
Ted
I
Price
saw
also.
his. I exchanged some mail with Ted. We did Sunset Overdrive with him in the role that he's
RK,
played
what up? Dragon Soul, what
with
up?
independent developers. David Haddad from Warner Brothers. Like it's a, it's always a turnover, but it's good. With every move on for any of us, it means more new voices and new perspectives in this industry, and I think it can continue to evolve and grow.
Well, thank you so much for making time to chat with me today. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, this was a great interview. I already hit the like button. Yo, Destin, shout out to Philip Bartholomew, Jay Spencer. This was a great interview. I enjoyed it very much so. Destin, great job. I think you did good here. I think it was great to watch. I like this actually. So shout out to Destin, shout out to Phil. This was great. So I liked it. But I think, listen, at the end of the day, man, I don't know how many more times Phil has to say the same thing. I do think these 2 interviews he did with Destin and the interview he did with the Gamer Tag Radio crew, I really think this should really shut the door on any type of what if of like, well, is this coming? Is this going to go? Is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? Is it like all that shit shut down now? Like if anybody is asking or still wondering, it's a you problem. It's not Phil Spencer. It's not Microsoft. It's a you problem at this point because he's laid it all out. There's no red lines. It's all coming. Pause. There's no it's all really. He want the vision for Microsoft and their future is they want people. They are bringing the games to where you are. That's it. Point blank. Period. That's it. If you still are wondering, if you're still, well, is this gonna go or is that? No. It's all going at some point. And it ain't going to be day one, at least not right now, but it's all going. And just because it's all coming, pause, does not mean I agree with that. I think, like I said, I keep reiterating it. I think console exclusivity is still very important to the industry, very important to brand individuality within the console space. Even if Microsoft themselves is not necessarily trying to directly compete with PlayStation or Nintendo, I do think that if you are still going to continue to release a console within the console space, you do need to have some level of exclusivity within your console ecosystem. And things should remain exclusive and not necessarily be a timed exclusive. Like there is no conversation around, oh, well, Mario and Zelda, they may release on PlayStation or Xbox. Like no one would ever have a conversation like that because we know that will never happen. God of War and Uncharted, there is no conversation around, oh, well, when will Uncharted and God of War release on Xbox? That ain't happening, So at least right now, that ain't happening. The only place where these types of conversations are happening is when it comes to Microsoft and their first-party titles. That's it. Stick a fork in it. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you did enjoy we are at the end of the show. If you did enjoy the show, put a 1 in the chat. If you did not enjoy the show, put a 2 in the chat. Be honest. Be honest. I can take it. I can take it, pause. If you didn't like the show, that's okay. Be honest. But throw the 1s if you liked it. Throw the 2s if you didn't. I definitely appreciate y'all. Like I said, this was like impromptu show. This was impromptu. So, I was like, let me do, I came home from vacation. So I was like, let me do a show before I get back to like work and everything tomorrow. Get back into my routine, my life routine. So yeah. Oh man, I'm seeing a lot of the 1s, man. I appreciate it, man. I see a lot of 1s. I love it. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate everybody coming through. Round of applause for the folks in the chat. Listen, I appreciate all of you. Verge, let me get your super chat real quick. Verge said, it's not that big a deal, gamer voice. Do I have that on me? I do.
It's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal.
Really?
It's not that big a deal.
Hey man, I keep saying I'm gonna redo the soundboard from back in the day with the soundboard, how I used to have it. For those that have been watching me a long time, y'all remember the soundboard. I have a new sound interface. I use Rode now. I don't use the TC Helicon. What's it? The Go XLR. it was much easier for me to do those sounds and those voices and all that on the Go XLR. On this Rodecaster Pro Duo, this Rodecaster Pro 2, this thing is super advanced, it's a lot, but I can't just like on the fly do those funny voices and stuff like that anymore, or create sound bites on the fly like I used to anymore. So it's much more difficult to do. But I might bring some of the old, I have to like look through my old files and find the old sound bites and bring a lot of them back. Like, you know, I still have Respect My Time. Respect My Time. I got a wife and kids. Covered it, Respect My Time, the PlayStation fan one. I'm a PlayStation fan too. I'm a PlayStation fan too. You know, I got that. And what's this one? They're an anomaly. Oh yeah, that's the Nintendo Anomaly. I got that one. They're an anomaly. They're an anomaly. What's this one? Cut the cap. Oh, okay. All right, so I got some of them. I got some of them ones. Because I was going through some of my old files trying to, you know, like put them onto my my Stream Deck, and so I have like a soundboard file section on my Stream Deck where I have some of the old sounds. But I have to. There's a lot of sounds that I did that I have to like go and listen through everything to make sure I grab the right ones and everything. So, oh, this one, I think this.
It looks like DLC.
I got that one. What's this? I don't know what that is. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's
I told you so.
I got a wife and kids. Oh, that's one. I remember this one.
I told you so.
I still got my Go XLR too. I should hook that thing up and create some new sounds real quick. Yo, I might do that and maybe in February or something like that. This week it's a lot. Yo, listen. On vacation, I unplugged from everything. I wasn't looking at no emails. I wasn't looking at social media. Like, I really unplugged and was one with New Hampshire. I was one with nature, one with the snow and everything, and just out there and just enjoying. But then today, even though I'm off today from work, I did look at like my emails and some Slacks and stuff like that. You know, I re-enabled my notifications just to kind of see what's going on, to see what I'm walking into tomorrow when I go to work. And man, this week is gonna be a crazy week, right? So I'm actually glad that I did do the show today, so at least you guys have something to watch. And you know, for anybody that might watch the upload or whatever later, you guys got something this week. But listen, this Saturday, What's Up PlayStation Podcast, episode 183, me and Bari, we back. We're gonna be talking about a lot of stuff, you know, doing all that and whatnot. So, you know, very excited for that. And yeah, man. Also, skincare routine. I think I got a new skincare routine, man. I've been using the products for like 2 weeks now, 2-3 weeks now. It's been 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. And you guys see the skin is skinning. You understand? You know, I always have good skin, but you know, I was breaking out a little bit. But I started using a new skincare routine. Shout out to Mama Kendra, MK. You know, she put your boy on to some new products. So I've been using them, and I've been getting a lot of, that was one thing too in New Hampshire. A lot of people was complimenting me on my skin, actually. Like a lot of, oh, you know, you have really great skin. Like a couple people, a couple ladies was saying that, actually. Oh, you're right. Skin is so bright. It's very nice. But yeah, anyway, listen, guys, I appreciate y'all so much rocking out with me. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm about to play some games before I go to bed. I got to get back into my routine, going to the gym and everything. Got to get back into it. You know, we got to snap back. We got to snap back and get back to what we're doing. You feel me? You know, the grind never stops. You heard? But listen, guys, be safe. One more round of applause for the folks in the chat. What do you say? And your weight loss, man, your transformation is crazy. Wait, what did Beth say? Damn, 2 years. Hold on, what's the chat? I wasn't looking at the chat. Let me look at the chat. You need to Phil Spencer no. Oh yeah, that's Lex and Fox. That Phil Spencer no. That's gonna be, trust me, that's gonna be on the soundboard. I promise. What did damn 2 years ago? 2 years ago with what? Blackbeard, I forgot. And your weight loss, your transformation is crazy. Oh yeah. Listen, man. Yo, I keep saying this before I go, man. I keep saying this, and it's because I really mean this, man. And let me be the living proof, man. Like, yo, y'all, you know, I used to be a big dude, man. Like, you know, especially the COVID year, the COVID pounds, the COVID definitely had your boy we was up there, man. We had to regain control. Thank you. Thank God, we regained control and we did what we did, man. But, I was a big dude, man. But I've always been confident, though. Even though when I was a big guy, I never had an issue in, like, the ladies department. It's just never been an issue for me. But anyway, health, man. Listen, let me be the living proof for you guys, man. Health is wealth, man. It's very important. I'll show you guys a recent, y'all see the recent picture, like, for those that follow me on Twitter. But listen, man, I say it because I mean it, man. I want you guys to be healthy, man. Go to the gym, exercise, eat healthy, be consistent, lift weights, fellas, even ladies too, lift weights, but like fellas, you don't want to lose all the weight, and you want to lose the weight and you want to gain the muscle, man. You want the muscle there, man. You want that muscle there, so that when shorty touch you, she feel the chest, and she feel that muscle there on the chest. She touch the arms. But also for yourself. First and foremost, do it for yourself, right? You want to look in the mirror and just be happy and just do it for yourself. First and foremost, fuck the chicks. Do it for yourself. But then obviously, you want to look good, for your partner or whoever, whatever. But first and foremost, do it for yourself, man. Because if you're doing it for somebody else, you're going to fail. You have to want to get in shape and be healthy. You have to want to do it for yourself. You have to look in the mirror one day and just be like, I don't want to be like this anymore. And change and make that lifestyle change. Because listen, losing weight and going to the gym and exercise, it's a lifestyle. It's not just you go lose all the weight and it's just never going to come back. You have to change your whole life. Your thinking, everything has to change. Listen, man, I want everybody to be healthy. I want everybody to be healthy and live a long time, man. So please, if nobody's rooting for you, I'm rooting for you. Persona, me. I don't know you. Even if I don't know you, even if you lurking, but you're somebody that want to get on your weight loss journey, I'm rooting for you. I don't even know you, but just know if you getting up and you going to the gym and you thinking, oh man, I'm rooting for you. Thinking in your head, Persona's rooting for me. I am rooting for you. I believe you can do it. I know you can do it. And I want you all to do it and be consistent and live a long time so that we could play these games and talk about these games and laugh at Xbox. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your evening. Be safe with whatever you're doing. And yeah, man, it's been Boys Persona, man. And y'all have a great evening. Be safe. I'm out.